In 1997, Evander Holyfield walked out of a boxing ring in Las Vegas and into a $34 million payday. One night. One fight. More money than most people earn in 10 lifetimes. By the time he was done, he had earned an estimated $230 million, one of the highest-paid fighters who ever lived. 17 years later, a rapper named Rick Ross would buy Holyfield's home, a mansion so big it had its own name, for $5.8 million. Holyfield had spent more than $30 million building it. He didn't sell it because he wanted to. The bank had already taken it. This is the story of how the highest-paid boxer of his era earned a fortune large enough to last 10 generations, and watched it disappear. Not to one disaster, to something quieter and far more dangerous. This is a money story. Let's get into it. Evander Holyfield was born in Atmore, Alabama in 1962, the youngest of 9 children, and grew up in the Bowen Homes housing projects in Atlanta. He started boxing at a boys' club at the age of 7. There was nothing given to him. Everything he would later earn, he earned with his fists. And earn he did. Holyfield became the only 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, and one of only 2 men in history to be the undisputed champion at both cruiserweight and heavyweight. He beat Mike Tyson twice. He beat George Foreman, Larry Holmes, Riddick Bowe, and Michael Moorer. His nickname was The Real Deal, and in the ring, he was exactly that. The money followed the greatness. Across a career that stretched from 1984 into the 2000s, Holyfield earned an estimated $230 million in purses. Some sources put the total closer to $250 million once endorsements and pay-per-view shares are counted. His trilogy with Riddick Bowe reportedly brought in more than $30 million by itself. The 1997 rematch with Tyson, the infamous one, paid him a reported $34 million for a single night's fight. At his peak, Holyfield was one of the highest-paid athletes on the planet, in any sport. He had deals with Coca-Cola and with Sega. There was even a Sega video game, Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing, that carried his name into millions of homes. By every measure that matters at the moment the check clears, Evander Holyfield had won. The question that would define the rest of his life was a different one. Not how much can you earn? How much can you keep? To understand what happened to Holyfield's money, you have to understand the building. Just south of Atlanta, in Fayette County, Georgia, Holyfield built a mansion. Not a big house. The biggest single-family home in the state of Georgia. It spanned roughly 54,000 square feet. It had 109 rooms, 12 bedrooms, 21 bathrooms, a bowling alley, a movie theater, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, reportedly one of the largest private pools in the country, a baseball field with its own lights and scoreboard. It sat on 235 acres. He named it, at first, Via Vittoriosa, Italian for victorious. He reportedly spent more than $30 million building it. Holyfield had 11 children, and he dreamed of a home where his whole family could gather in the kind of luxury he never had growing up in the projects. That dream is human and understandable, and it is also where the arithmetic started to turn against him. Here is the number that matters. Holyfield reportedly told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that the mansion cost him about $1 million a year to operate. The electricity bill alone reportedly ran around $17,000 a month. A house is not an asset if it takes $1 million a year to keep the lights on. It's an engine that burns money, whether or not you're still earning. That is the trap. The fortune was enormous, but it was fixed. The overhead was forever. As long as the purses kept coming, the machine could be fed. The moment they slowed, the house kept consuming at exactly the same rate. This is the difference between the man who earns a fortune and the man who keeps one. Holyfield built his overhead to match his best year, and no career has only best years. The unraveling came from several directions at once, and not a single one of them would have been fatal. Together, they were. There were the business ventures, and they failed expensively. Holyfield launched a music label, Real Deal Records, that reportedly lost around $2.3 million before it closed. A restaurant venture reportedly cost him another $7.6 million. He put his name on grills, on barbecue sauce, even fire extinguishers. None of them became the business he needed. Every one of these was bleeding money. Money that never returned. There were the personal obligations. With 11 children across several relationships, Holyfield faced significant child support commitments, a matter of public record, and a real and recurring draw on the fortune. There were reported back taxes. There were mounting debts. And underneath all of it sat the house, still burning $1 million a year. Holyfield had taken out a $10 million mortgage against the mansion, which reportedly ballooned to $14 million after refinancing. By 2008, the cracks were public. The estate entered foreclosure proceedings for the first time. He struck a deal with the bank and held on, but holding on cost money he no longer had coming in. In 2012, it ended. J.P. Morgan Chase repossessed the mansion after years of missed payments. That same year, Holyfield filed for bankruptcy, reportedly listing debts of nearly $10 million. The man who had earned $230 million was, on paper, worth almost nothing. In early 2014, the largest home in Georgia, the $30 million dream, was sold to Rick Ross for $5.8 million. Holyfield got none of that. The bank did. It's easy to look at Evander Holyfield and reach for the usual explanation. Another athlete who didn't understand money. That explanation is too cheap, and it misses what actually happened. Holyfield's fall wasn't one catastrophic mistake. There was no single con man, no one bad night at a casino, no dramatic theft. What broke him was structural, and it was quiet. He built a life whose fixed costs, the house, the ventures, the obligations, were sized to his peak earning years and then kept running long after those years ended. $1 million a year house doesn't care that you've stopped fighting. The bills arrive on the first of the month whether or not there was a pay-per-view. Compare him to George Foreman, who fought in the same era. Foreman took his name and built an income stream, the grill, that paid him more after boxing than during it. Foreman's money worked while he slept. Holyfield's money worked only as hard as he did, and the day he slowed down, the overhead kept sprinting. Same sport, same era, opposite outcome, and the difference wasn't talent or even earnings. It was whether the money was structured to outlast the career or to be consumed by it. Here's the real lesson, and it has nothing to do with boxing. It is not what you earn. It is what your life costs to run. A fortune is not a number in an account. It's a race between what comes in and what goes out. And the finish line is the day the income stops. Holyfield earned enough to win that race 10 times over. He just built a life that spent faster than even $230 million could refill. Evander Holyfield is 62 now, and by his own account, he has spent the years since rebuilding. More carefully, on a scale a human being can actually sustain. The real deal is still standing. But the fortune that once made him one of the highest-paid athletes alive is gone, and it left behind the most expensive lesson in sports. Earning the money is the easy part. Keeping it is the fight that never has a final round. If this story hit you, hit subscribe, because next time we're leaving the ring, but not the lesson. We're telling the story of a champion who won 6 titles, earned over $100 million, and handed it to the one man he was told he could trust. He didn't overspend it. He didn't gamble it away. Somebody else signed his name. You don't want to miss it.